Do you like cats and dogs, loot-based adventure games with some mild RPG elements, and a cute story with some dark twists and turns sprinkled in? Then Cat Quest 2 might just be the game for you. Honestly, for a casual family game, Cat Quest 2 has a decent amount of depth in its story and gameplay, even though, again, it's more simplified than most others out there like it. Not to say that that is a bad thing, however, because all the pieces for a very fun experience come together nicely here. The story follows the journey of two corrupted heroes who have been reborn and tasked with the quest of stopping the warring kingdoms of cats and dogs. Throw in some conspiracy, cosmic horror, and a load of animal puns, and you got yourself the story of Cat Quest 2. You'll be traveling over two separate lands in the hopes of putting together the legendary weapon known as the King's Blade, before one of the two warring factions' warlords get their own paws on it. All while that is going on, you'll meet a few mainstay characters, plenty of wacky side characters, and uncover a dark conspiracy that is brewing. While it is a bit formulaic for a fantasy game, the twist near the end was decent, and the themes of prejudice, jealousy, friendship, and teamwork were also handled well. I never felt like the game preached to me, which was nice, as the few genuinely sad and heartfelt moments felt earned once you realize fully what is going on. I even really liked how the New Game Plus was handled, as I do always enjoy when there is a story reason for how it is happening in game. Overall, the game was only around 4 hours for the main campaign and some sub-stories, but I barely even touched the surface for the side quests, and there seemed to be a lot of other dungeons and stuff to do and collect. There are only a few main characters to the game, consisting of the cute cat king spirit who guides you on your way named Thierry, the two bickering shopkeepers Kit Kat and Hato Doggo, and the governor. There were also countless fun side characters that you will eventually meet doing the game's numerous side quests scattered around. The quests in the game are all very relaxed fetch quests, but they never really got all that tiring. Each one gave you a reason to explore the island, and by doing this, you found a lot of cool new places and other quests to go do. Another nice thing is all the quests felt unique. Sometimes you are helping some bards get past the guard border, or perhaps you are treasure hunting with the aid of a deceased spirit. There was lots of variety to the quests that you were doing. The gameplay was straightforward, and I actually like this. You have two different kinds of attacks, not counting spells, which are melee and magic. Melee is naturally swords and axes and such, while your magic is your ranged attack. Each has a drawback, and I thought this was neat, as using melee weapons lets you keep your full health bar due to the fact that you are attacking enemies head on. While melee weapons had weight and a lot of variety in how they looked, I ended up preferring magic weapons most of the time, since I was allowed to be more agile with them. Magic, on the other hand, allows you to stay away from enemies, with you having to momentarily sacrifice half your health bar while the wand or staff is equipped. Naturally, there are all sorts of different elemental attacks, with enemies having certain weaknesses to each type. You also get spells over the course of the game by finding stones around the map which grant them to you, along with an enhanced mana bar. The spells ranged from attacks to healing spells, and all of these are your active skills over the game, allowing you to map them to one of the shoulder buttons for quick use. To avoid enemy attacks, you will get a telegraph prompt from the enemy before they make their move, allowing you to roll your way out of their line of fire. Rolling can also double as an attack later in the game after you get a blessed skill. Armor can give you different bonuses, such as extra damage for magic or melee, extra health, or resistance to certain elemental types. This was broken up into body armor and head armor, and each gave their own stat increase. You get weapons and armor by doing quests, and if the quest gives you the same weapon or armor piece you might have already found in a dungeon or gotten through another quest, then your current version of it will be upgraded. Kit Kat upgrades your armor, while Hato Doggo upgrades your weapons, all of course using the gold you collect through doing stuff in the game. The gold isn't used for anything else, and there are no other in-game stores. Leveling up also doesn't really do much other than give you more health and mana. The game looks fantastic, to put it simply. The game has a very simple yet beautiful charm rendered in the board game-like visuals. Everything was pleasing to the eye, from the overly cute characters to the completely unique weapons and gear to all the various monsters and environments. The map was huge and split up into two islands. One was a lush forest belonging to the cats, and the other a barren yet still visually appealing desert belonging to the dogs. Throughout the land, there are different towns you can visit and get fun quests from, each with their own vocal locals. The monsters and enemies in the game each had their own types, and while there weren't as many types as in some of the other RPGs out there were still enough visually interesting enemies that filled the roles they needed to. Small, weaker beginner enemies, soldiers, skeletons, and giant boss-like enemies. Everything that you would expect from an RPG was here. The soundtrack to the game was pleasant to listen to, even if the only incredibly memorable track was the overworld theme, and a more sinister track used later on. Still, don't take that as me saying it was bad, as the music suited each area area of the game it was in. The other sound effects were high quality, with cute cat and dog sounds in place of voice acting, weapons had good sounds of impact, and nothing sounded annoying or low quality. And with all that said, I really enjoyed Cat Quest 2 a heck of a lot. I generally think most other people will as well, sans the people who aren't too big on fetch quests. But even then, I think the charm and relatively short length of the main campaign could entice those sorts of people into giving it a playthrough. There is a lot of content on offer past the main quest line, and the fact that you can play drop-in co-op with a friend on the same console or computer is wonderful. This is one of those games that fits the Switch perfectly due to its bite-sized nature, and even works extremely well on PC due to the pick up and play feel of it. The game runs perfectly with no technical problems at all, and is just an extremely solid experience from beginning to end, with loads of cute charm, some decent challenge near the end, and addicting gameplay. I can safely say Cat Quest 2 is worth an afternoon of playtime with a friend, or even just by yourself. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please consider sharing with a friend or checking out my Patreon linked in the description below. A huge thank you to PQ for sending me an early copy of the game to review. Their Twitter will be linked down in the description below as well. And another big thank you to my show's patrons Gemstar Gold and Project Nova. If you have any comments or questions, leave them down below as I read and reply to everything. Until next time, this is Thierry Williamson signing off until the next video. See you guys!